Hi there, Guillermo Vidal here, and I want to talk today about how to communicate with your inner guide. So let me start by telling you a story about a friend of mine. This friend is accustomed to worrying, as the rest of us do, about the various things in her life, like her investments, where she'll go on vacation, the new guy she met. She often gets anxious about these things because she has trouble determining what it is she wants to do about these issues. Whenever she reaches out to me and tells me about her troubles, she always concludes her stories by asking, "What would you do if you were me?" Does this sound familiar? I'm sure it does. For this is a habit most of us were raised with, and that is that we should ask people for advice before we do anything. I'm here to tell you that seeking the advice from others as a final check before you take action is a huge mistake, for this will always be a stumbling block when you're trying to get direction from your inner guide. That's the lesson I learned. Now, what's that, you say? What's the problem with asking others for advice? Well, not necessarily a problem if you're asking advice from experts, like your doctor when you feel sick, or the mechanic when something is wrong with your car. Or let's say you want to go to a new restaurant and you know a friend went to and you want to know what it's about. That's all fine. I'm talking here about asking others, friends, family members, teachers, and even strangers, for their recommendations on what they would do to solve your problem. The reason for this is simple. When others give you advice on your problem, what they're really telling you is what they would do. This means they're projecting their values, beliefs, experiences into your situation. This advice has very little to do with you. It has to do with them. So majority of the time, their solutions with your life won't fit you. Now, if you think I'm wrong here, let me ask you, have you ever followed the advice others have given you only to find that you feel even worse off than before you took their advice? Let me ask another question. Have you ever felt even more confused and unsure of what to do after hearing the advice from a person you deeply trust? I'm sure your answer to these two questions is like mine. Yes, I've had that experience. So if you want to learn to listen to your inner guide, you have to stop defaulting what you think or believe to the advice of outer guides. Try this exercise for the next hour. Just do whatever it is you want to do. Let's call this step 1. You know you have the right answer if the sentence that you say begins with, "I want to, ... You know you'll have the wrong direction if your sentence begins with, "I should want to, ... or mom or someone else wants me to, ... The point of this exercise is to help you identify what you want. Got it? You'll find that doing this is actually hard because all of us have grown used to doing what we think others would want or expect us to do. So let's begin. Ask your inner guide, what do I want to do? Then write down the first thing that comes to mind, like I want to take a walk, or I want to go to the movies, or I want to eat an ice cream. There's no wrong answer here, and don't analyze it either. Whatever comes up, do it. Now, since you're not used to doing this, you may question your answer. If that is the case, and you're not sure that your answer is what you want to do, then ask yourself this question. Would doing this make me happy? If the answer to this is yes, then do it. If the answer is no, then go back to step 1 and ask yourself the question again. If after doing this, you're still having problems coming up with something you would like to do or something that would make you happy, then take a moment and engage your imagination. By this I mean, imagine yourself doing whatever it is you're proposing. If you feel light, giddy, and excited to do it, then you know that it is what you should do. If you feel discouraged, lackluster, and without energy, then that is not the right answer. Then go back to step one and start over. One last thing on this process. If you feel excitement but are overcome with fear or guilt because of what you think other people will think of you if you did this, then you definitely should do what you're contemplating. For as the father of psychiatry, Carl Jung says, where your fear is, and in this particular case is your fear what other people think, there is your task. You have to overcome it. And I think he's right. Overcoming the fear of what other people might think is key to reclaiming your independence. It's also key for rediscovering your inner guide and an essential element to aging fearlessly. I'll talk more about inner guide in the future, but this is a beginning. Try it. And these are the signs when you know you're being centered to yourself. See you soon.